My entire life, I was always a very healthy person. I was extremely active. I enjoyed my job, my family. I had a really great life. I considered myself one of the lucky ones because I rarely even caught a cold. It all started with something as simple as a sore throat. The doctor gave me antibiotics for swollen glands, and 2 weeks later, I was declining so rapidly that I couldn't breathe. I had no choice but to be taken to the Lakewood Ranch emergency room. They noticed my swollen glands seemed larger than normal and decided to do a PET scan immediately because of the mass on my throat. When the doctors in the ER told me that they were going to do a PET scan, I became very nervous because usually people that have swollen glands don't receive a PET scan. So I knew that something was not right at that point, but was hopeful that it wasn't the worst. It was only hours later when the results came back and I was informed by the doctors that I had cancer. I was just devastated. I couldn't believe the words that he was saying. I just knew at that point my life as I knew it was done. It doesn't matter who you are, how much money you have, how many friends you have. No one is prepared physically, mentally, spiritually, or financially for how your life's about to change. In just a few minutes, your life will never be the same, and all you can do is pray. Days following the diagnosis of Large B Cell Lymphoma, I had to have surgery. Shortly after that, had the R-CHOP chemotherapy for 6 weeks, and after the 6 weeks was completed, I had another PET scan, and the PET scan came back and it was clean. And I was so excited, and I just thought to myself, I've beat this, I'm gonna live. I started getting back to my life, and then several months passed and my lungs started filling up with fluid and I couldn't breathe. I couldn't walk a few steps and I was rushed to the emergency room again. They did another PET scan to discover that lymphoma was back. I had relapsed. I needed to go to New York and see a specialist because usually lymphoma doesn't reoccur. When I went to see the specialist in New York, he told me that not only did I have lymphoma, I also have a condition called CLL, which is a chronic leukemia. It is reoccurring, and it can just keep coming back. It's very rare that they can cure a person that has CLL. They can try to put you into remission, but you just have to keep on fighting it over and over again if it reoccurs. I mean, some people can live for years with this type of cancer, but it's difficult because you're in and out of remission. It was a major setback because I thought I can fight something that's curable. I can battle it and I can get it out of my body and I can do this. But when they tell you that it's something that they can't cure, you have to change your perspective and just realize that you're gonna have to do it over and over again, which is kind of hard mentally and physically and financially to do. The specialist in New York told me that there was a stem cell transplant option that could be performed at Moffitt Cancer Center. That was really my only option for survival. Following that, we had to find a donor, and luckily my sister Marla was my donor. She was a 10 out of 10 match. The stem cell transplant process was a 3-month ordeal. My sister had to fly from New York to Tampa to stay at Moffitt while I was there. I was hospitalized for 30 days at Moffitt. When the insurance ends at the 30 days, you have to find lodging that's close to Moffitt because you're monitored very closely. You have to go every day for blood tests. So I wound up staying in a hotel for an additional 3 months. So after I had the stem cell transplant, I was tested again in October, and the cancer again had gone into remission. It was completely gone. I was cancer-free. There wasn't one cell in my body of cancer. About 7 months later, I started to feel really, really ill again, and went to Moffitt, as I do weekly, and told them what was happening. And so I had to get another PET scan. The PET scan came back to show that I had cancer in my abdomen and in my bone marrow again. So I had relapsed within a year. As of now, I'm taking a pill that has a 50-50 chance of putting me into remission again. For 3 years now, the medical bills have been, rolling in. And what insurance doesn't cover, it's up to the patient to cover the difference. It's extremely hard, and I can say that it's almost as hard as fighting the cancer is like trying to pay the medical bills, because one prescription that I have is $9,000 a month. One shot that I have to take to boost my white blood count is $6,000 a month. So in order to continue to pay all my medical bills, I've had to go through all my savings. I've spent everything that I've ever worked for, everything I've ever saved, to the point where I have medical bills just looming. And when I get sad, I just listen to music and put my headphones on. And I did that in the hospital. I did it for 3 months when I was recovering from the transplant. Music is very important. This event's going to be a great night, lots of good music, and it's something positive that I can look forward to, and I'm going to keep on fighting, and I'm going to beat cancer again. I'd just like to thank everyone sincerely from the bottom of my heart for all your support and prayers, and I'm glad that we're all coming together for a great night of fun and celebration, and I look forward to seeing everybody. Thank you all.